Okay, hello mga students. Ipagpatuloy natin yung ating discussion sa job order costing. Pag-usapan natin sa lecture na ito, yung tinatawag natin ng mga product and material losses. Okay, ano ba ito? Well, technically, we are talking about losses. Kasi alam niyo pagdating sa mga production, normal. Okay, hindi maiiwasan. May mga unavoidable instances kung saan there will be leakages, spoilage, defects. Okay? So we consider them as losses in the production. Meron tayong tinatawag na shrinkage, meron tayong tinatawag na defects, meron tayong tinatawag na spoilage. Pag sinabi nating shrinkage, ito yung losses that are inherent in the manufacturing process. Halimbawa, ang produkto na ginagawa na minamanufacture ninyo ay madaling mag-evaporate. Okay, kunwari na lang mga alcohol, no? So, mabilis itong mag-evaporate, okay, under a given condition. O kaya may mga leakages or oxidation. So, that is what we call shrinkage. Okay? Meron din tayong tinatawag na mga defects. Pag sinabi nating defects, well, actually, kasama ng spoilage, pag makikita ninyo dito, naka-merge po itong defects and spoilage. Because these are production process errors. Okay? Ng mga pagkakamali sa production. Ito inherent. Pag sinabi nating inherent, likas. Okay? By the nature of the product, no? Hindi talaga yan maiiwasan. Pero itong defects and spoilage, errors, no? Caused by errors, either manual, no? Human error, or kaya naman machine. So, halimbawa, nagloko yung machine, naapektuhan yung pinoproseso. So, meron tayong, pwedeng magkaroon ng mga defects or mga spoilage. And it causes a loss of units through rejection at inspection for failure to meet appropriate quality standards or designated product specifications. Kunwari, ang minamanufacture ay mga pagkain. Okay? Tawag nito, kunwari donut. Yung donut bilog, may butas sa gitna. Tapos, upon inspection, merong isang piraso na walang butas. So, we consider it as defect or production process error kasi hindi siya nagmi-meet sa specification based on quality standards. Kasi may mga quality control po yan. No? Ini-inspect yan. Are these according to our standards, to our quality of standards? Because important sa mga manufacturers, yung quality ng kanilang mga produkto. Okay? Now, ang difference lamang po nitong defects at saka spoilage, pag defects kasi, yung units na yon, yung mga defective units na yon, pwede pang matrabaho. Pwede pang trabahuin, magawa ng paraan at para maibenta. Samantalang pag spoilage, hindi na kayang gawa ng paraan yan. Okay? So, pag defects, pwede pang magawa ng paraan, pwede pang ma-rework at maibenta. Samantalang pag spoilage, hindi kaya yung rework. Okay? Baka pwedeng maibenta din, pero yun nga lang, hindi na siya ma-rework para maibalik sa tamang kondisyon. Okay? Now, meron akong asterisk dito sa rework. Okay? Pag yung mga units ay hindi nagmi-meet sa quality specification, nire-rework ito, para ma-meet yung product specification. O kaya naman, maibebenta ito as irregulars. I remember, may mga tinapay tayo, mga tasty bread, or halimbawa, may sa production kasi ng tinapay, meron silang quality na chine-check na may standard yan, na dapat ganito yung quality nitong mga tinapay. Kung may mga deformities, na deform, naging triangle, or medyo hindi siya maganda yung pagkakaproduce, So, pwede po itong maibenta, tawag minsan ng iba dyan, mga deform, no? Okay? Hindi siya defective, mapapakinabangan siya, kasi pinag-uusapan natin dito tinapay, So, deform yung tawag, pero pwede pa itong ipack at maibenta sa mas mababang halaga. Unlike usual na pricing nito, no? Kasi hindi nito na-meet yung quality. Okay, nung nila for that specific bread type. Okay? Siyempre, pag may rework tayo, meron tayong added cost. Ito yung tinatawag natin na rework cost. Now, etong rework cost, it can either be a product or a period cost. And remember, pag sinabi nating product cost, ito ay inventoryable. maisasama natin sa balance sheet. Samantalang pag period cost, it has to be expensed outright. Kailangan na natin itong expense na doon sa ating profit or loss statement, sa income statement. It depends on whether the rework relates to defective production that is considered to be normal or abnormal. Okay? So alamin natin paano ba natin sinasabi na normal yan or abnormal? Kasi pag normal arising from pag normal ito, it is a product cost yung rework na yan. Pero pag abnormal losses yan, it is a period cost. Now, ano bang difference ng normal at saka abnormal? Okay? Pag sinabi nating normal loss, it falls within a tolerance level that is expected during a production. Samantalang pag abnormal loss, ito ay any loss that is in excess of the expectation level. Halimbawa, sa example dito, if a company sets its quality goal at 99% of goods produced, meron tayong normal loss na 1%. We are anticipating 99% lamang. Okay, meron tayong 1% dito, no? So any loss in excess of that is considered as abnormal loss. Now, in a job order situation, because under tayo sa topic na job order, no? Yung accounting treatment for lost units depends on two issues. Is a loss generally incurred for most jobs? Or is it specific to a particular job? Ang loss ba na yan incurred sa karamihan ng mga trabaho, ng mga job orders? Or it is a particular, specific to a particular job? Another one that we have to consider is yung loss ba considered as normal or abnormal? Now, let me share with you an illustration. How do we, ano yung ating journal entry kapag yung loss ay a result, general in most of the jobs or specific to the job, and what happens if it is abnormal. Okay? Let's talk about the loss generally anticipated on all jobs. Ibig sabihin, we are anticipating, we are expecting that there are losses. Normal losses ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. Kung ang normal loss ay na-anticipate sa lahat ng mga jobs, yung predetermined, please take note ng aking mga highlights. The predetermined overhead rate should include an amount for the net loss, okay, which equals the cost of defective or spoiled work minus any, estimated disposal value of that work. Please take note, pag normal loss yan, anticipated sa lahat ng trabaho, kasama dapat sa predetermined overhead rate natin, yung net loss. Pag sinabi nating net loss, yung cost ng defective or spoiled work, yung rework cost natin dyan, minus any estimated disposal value of that work. This approach assumes that losses are naturally inherent. Okay, normal po ito, and unavoidable in the production. Hindi maiiwasan sa production ng mga mabubuti. Mabubuti. Yung mga matitinong units, the good units, And the estimated loss should be allocated to the good units produced. Now, let me show you how do we do that. At para mas ma-appreciate nyo, yung tinutukoy natin dito that the predetermined overhead rate should include the net cost of the rework. Okay, consider the following. Ito yung overhead cost ko, 121,500 before any spoilage, Ito na spoilage cost. Ito yung cost of rework ko, okay, 10,300. Pero pwede ko itong maibenta, Sale of improperly mixed compounds to foreign distributors. Meron tayong specific na example dito sa libro ni Kinney and Rayborn. Pero hindi ko na po present dito yung specific na details. I just want you to be familiar with the figures and how do we apply this, etong narrative natin at yung mga naka-underline. So yung etong $10,300, ito yung tinatawag natin na cost of defective or spoiled work, yung added cost natin, minus any estimated disposal value. Ito po yun, Maibebenta natin ito at 4,300. Ang cost natin dito ay 10,300. Ibig sabihin, this is the net loss. Lugi tayo Kasi additional $10 tayo. Mabebenta natin at 4.3. Lugi tayo ng $6,000. So, eto, na $6,000 has to be included in computing for your predetermined overhead rate. Kaya nga, ina-add natin siya dito. That is why our total estimated cost here is 127,500 instead the 121,500 lang. And di ba, pag nagko-compute tayo ng predetermined overhead rate, okay, sa ilalim, meron estimated, no, yung budget capacity. Okay, dito, yung estimated gallons of production natin during the year is 150,000. So pag kinuha natin, dinivide natin yung 127,500 at saka yung 150,000, ang predetermined overhead rate natin per gallon is $0.85. So makita po ninyo, because this is a normal loss and the loss is anticipated on all jobs, ini-include natin yung cost, yung net cost, no, as part of your predetermined overhead rate computation. Okay? I hope maliwanag po itong part na ito. Now, let's record the journal entry of an actual defect cost. Kasi take note, ito po ay computation ng predetermined overhead rate. Kasi 'di ba sa ating manufacturing overhead control account, yung predetermined yung magiging basehan kung magkano yung i-apply natin, yung edit natin doon sa T account ng manufacturing overhead control account. Pero syempre 'di ba, yung actual cost ay dinedebit pa rin natin. Halimbawa po, tignan niyo ito. Specific to a particular job, kunwari si job 38, we have the actual cost of a defective mixture, $57. Pero maibebenta po ito sa outlet market sa halagang $22. Pag kinuha mo yung difference niyan, magkano lugi mo? 57 minus 22, lugi ka ng $35. Paano natin ito i-journalize? Please take note, debit ka ng disposal value of defective work. Kung magkano natin na ito maibebenta, no? That is 22. Manufacturing overhead control, it is the difference between 57 and 22. Okay? Dinidebit natin siya sa manufacturing overhead control, the actual na. Okay? So, predetermined is na-consider na natin, di ba? Doon sa POHR. Pero eto yung actual cost kasi, di ba? Sa manufacturing overhead control account, nasa left side ito, kaya siya naka-debit. Pag credit kasi yan, based on the applied na. And kinikredit natin sa WIP inventory, job 38. Okay? To record disposal value of defective work incurred on job 38. Bakit natin binabawas yan sa WIP? Kasi mga losses po ito. It should be removed from our work in process inventory, okay, because we want to capture only what is the actual. Magkano dapat yung WIP natin doon sa mga good units. Okay? Pero, tignan ninyo, ano, loss generally anticipated on all jobs. Yung $22, dinidebit natin ito sa disposal value. Yung difference, okay, etong loss natin, dinidebit natin ito sa manufacturing overhead control account. Remember, later on, pag in-apply na natin ito, babalik din ito sa WIP inventory mo. Okay? Pero bakit ganon? Tignan po ninyo ito. The estimated cost of spoilage was originally included when calculating the predetermined overhead rate. Okay? So technically, pag ano yan, in-apply na natin, babalik yan sa WIP inventory mo. Therefore, as defects or spoilage occur, the disposal value, ito, of non-standard work, if saleable, kung may value man, kung kaya siyang maibenta, it will be included in an inventory account. Tignan ninyo, inventory. Itong hinighlight ko, no, binold ko at saka naka-underline. So, ito palang disposal value of defective work, that is an inventory account. At saka yung net cost of the normal non-standard work is charged to the manufacturing overhead account, no? As is any other actual overhead cost. Okay? So, please take note of the journal entry. This disposal value of defective work is an inventory. Okay? Manufacturing overhead control. Later on, papasok yan sa WIP inventory. Pag in-apply na natin siya into the production, using your predetermined overhead rate, kung saan nakasama na doon sa computation, no? Net cost of rework. Okay, after deducting any disposal values. Let me know na lang, class. You may comment down if you want to clarify something about this one. Okay? How about pag specifically identified with a particular job? Papaano naman po ito? Okay? If losses are not generally anticipated, we do not anticipate losses. Pero occasionally, experience, it will be incurred on specific jobs because maybe that is job-related characteristic. By the nature of the job, okay, we anticipate na may losses dyan. Pero hindi yan anticipated for all jobs, across all jobs. Specific lamang po siya sa job. Now, the estimated cost should not be included in setting the predetermined overhead rate. Yung estimated cost, yung cost of rework less any disposal value, it should not be included in setting the predetermined overhead rate. Unlike doon, pag across siya, isinasama natin doon sa computation ng POHR, di ba? Because the defect or spoilage cost attaches to the job, the disposal value of such goods reduces the cost of the job that created those costs. Kasi dito hindi naman natin pwedeng i-apply yun sa lahat kasi specific ito doon sa job. Kung sinama mo yan sa computation ng predetermined overhead rate, later on, pag in-apply natin yan, makakasama din yan sa ibang mga jobs. So, hindi po dapat. Okay? Kaya hindi siya isinasama in setting up your predetermined overhead rate. Okay? If no disposal value exists for the defective or spoiled goods, the cost of those lost units remain with the job that caused the defect or spoilage. Pakita natin yung journal entry, para mas ma-appreciate ninyo. Pero before that, tignan po ninyo itong computation natin kanina. Meron lang akong highlight. Kung specifically identified yan sa particular job, hindi na natin ito sinasama. We only capture in computing for the predetermined overhead rate yung usual na overhead cost natin, excluding mga estimated spoilage cost. So, 121,500 divided by 150,000 lang tayo dito. So, ang determined overhead rate natin is 0.81. Okay, 121,500 divided by 150,000, ito yon. Okay? At kapag nag-journal entry tayo dyan, tignan ninyo ito, hinighlight ko. If no disposal value exists for the defective spoiled goods, ibig sabihin, wala po tayong disposal value. Okay, the cost of lost units remains with the job that causes the defects. So dito tignan niyo yung journal entry natin. Okay. If no disposal value exists for the defective spoiled goods, the cost of those lost units remain with the job that caused the defect or spoilage. So dito wala po tayong manufacturing overhead control account. Pag specifically identified with a particular job, the cost of those lost units will remain with the job that caused the defect or spoilage. So nandoon pa rin siya. Ang tinatanggal lang natin dito is kung magkano man. Okay? Ito, sorry parang mali yung pagka-highlight ko dito sa ginawa nating illustration. Dito kasi sa journal entry na ito, pinapakita na out of this 57, $52 pwede nating maibenta. Okay? Kaya dito, ang journal entry lang natin is debit disposal value, which is an inventory account. Nire-reclassify lang natin siya. And ikini-credit natin sa WIP inventory. Tinatanggal natin doon sa WIP. Assuming na mayroong disposal value. Okay? Ang anong wala dito? Yung manufacturing overhead control account natin, yung loss. Okay, this is the net cost, di ba? Okay, 57 minus 22. Dito, hindi na natin siya kasama. Wala dito. Pag specifically identified with a particular job. Pero kung wala yung disposal value, yung cost of lost units remains with the job. So parang wala tayong journal entry dito. Okay? So please correct me doon sa una kong nabanggit, Kasi mali yung aking hinighlight tapos yung example iba naman, Dito, pinapakita lang po nitong journal entry natin dito kung may disposal value. Pero kung wala yung disposal value, wala tayong journal entry. Yun yung tinutukoy dito na kung walang disposal value, yung lost units natin will remain with the job that caused the defects or spoilage. So parang ina-absorb siya ng ating work in process inventory. Okay? So I hope na-clarify ko po itong part na ito. Now, how about abnormal spoilage? Kasi previously, we are talking about normal spoilages, mga normal loss, either anticipated to all jobs or specific to a particular job. Pero ito naman, what happens if abnormal spoilage? Remember, kapag sinabi nating normal, abnormal, it depends on management. Sila yung nagsiset ng what is normal and what is abnormal in that circumstance. Okay? Pero tandaan po ninyo ito for the accounting part, the cost of all abnormal losses, always net of any value, should be written off. I-write off. Ini-expense na natin ito as period cost. Okay? This treatment is justified because asset cost should include only those costs that are necessary to acquire or produce inventory. Unnecessary costs should be written off in the period in which they are incurred. At highlight ko po ito. Abnormal losses are not necessary. The cost is avoidable in the future. In-expense natin ito kasi pwede natin itong maiwasan. So, hindi po natin ito ipa-product cost. So, yung po yung comparison kanina sa mga previous slides, yung mga reworks, cost of reworks can be a product cost or a period cost, depending whether it is a normal cost or an abnormal cost. Now, this cost should be separately identified and the cost investigated to determine how to prevent future similar occurrences. Okay? Tignan po ninyo itong illustration natin. Let us assume that on job 135, the cost of defective units was $198, but $45 of disposal value was associated with those units. Assume sa job 135, yung cost ng defective units was $198, pero $45 yung disposal value. Okay? What is the difference? 198 minus 45, that is 153. 120 daw doon related to normal defects and the difference, which is 33, is considered abnormal. Pag ginawan po natin ito ng journal entry, makikita po ninyo ito. Disposal value of defective work yung 45. And then, charge to manufacturing overhead control account yung normal, which is 120. And yung abnormal, ito yung nire-write off natin as period cost. Loss from abnormal spoilage, $33. Okay? So, pag in-add ninyo yan, that is 198. Okay? So, yun class, So, you see the differences in the journal entries. Pag normal tayo, anticipated in all. So, debit, disposal, debit, manufacturing. Pagdating sa normal losses na specific to a particular job, kung merong disposal value, yun lamang yung debit natin and credit sa WIP. Pag walang disposal value, wala tayong journal entry. Kasi wala tayong debit sa manufacturing overhead. Samantalang, pagdating dito sa abnormal spoilage, yung abnormal spoilage, hindi natin yan kinakapitalize. Ito kasi inventoriable pa rin ito separate na inventory account. Pero product cost pa rin yan. Yung manufacturing overhead mo, product cost yan, no? Kasi later on, i-apply natin yan sa WIP according to the applied overhead rate. Pero etong loss from abnormal spoilage, diretso na po yan sa P&L, that is expense outright. Ni-write off natin as a period cost. Kasi, eto, yung mga nasa product cost, magiging expense lang yan pag nabenta na. Pero pag hindi. Okay, so I hope malinaw po tayo dito and yung differences natin sa journal entry. So hanggang dyan muna tayo class, no? Please let me know if you have any questions para at least maklarify natin yan. Maraming salamat. I'll see you around sa mga susunod na discussion. Bye-bye.